Welcome everyone to History Gone Wilder, part of Half History Will Travel. I'm your host, the Wilder historian, Dr. Lucas Wilder, and last time I set up the Second Battle of Reams Station. Now the two sides engage in a destructive battle over a pivotal supply line into Petersburg. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, join the Patreon page, and purchase something from one of my online stores. Every little bit helps. Thank you. A.P. Hill moved two of his divisions, with additional troops from other commands, to Reams Station. Cadmus Wilcox pushed his brigade toward Reams Station, sending the Union skirmishers into the Federal entrenchments in a panic. The chaotic sounds coming from the west convinced Hancock to move Horace P. Rugg's brigade from its position on the left of Matthew Murphy's brigade to a supporting position behind Levin Crandall's brigade of New Yorkers. He also recalled Thomas Smith's brigade back to the earthworks. Wilcox's skirmishers had pushed in Hancock's skirmishers, but the Union general wanted the line re-established and ordered an extended skirmish line thrown out. It overlapped the Confederate line in places, but didn't stay at the front long. The weight of the Confederate attack sent the skirmishers back into the fortifications. Wilcox's corps commander, A.P. Hill, was suffering from prostatitis, and it was particularly bad on this hot August day. Hill was forced to dismount from his horse and lay on the ground because of the incredible amount of pain. Because of this, Wilcox exercised a sort of independent command. Wilcox deemed it necessary to press the Union forces after observing so many of them running from his troops. He thought he couldn't wait for Henry Heath's division to make it to the field, so he sent George Anderson and Alfred Scales' brigades in a charge against the Federal works, but Anderson's men got to within 200 yards, received some artillery and light musketry, hitting many officers, and they fell back. Anderson's men, falling back, caused a chain reaction, sending Scales' men back as well. Wilcox was determined to make another assault, using the unused brigades of his division. Wilcox would need to bring Samuel McGowan's brigade north, but expose them to enemy fire to do so. But with Heath's division arriving on the field, Wilcox decided to call off another attack until Heath was ready to assault the Federal position. Wilcox's sharpshooters began their work of destruction as the battle entered a lull. Here deliberately, but without malice, planning the destruction of their enemies, the sharpshooters carefully estimated the distance between the lines, the depression of the ground where the enemy lay, the course the ball would take in its trajectory flight, and the exact point where it would cut the line of fire. Then, adjusting their sights accordingly, they entered upon the work at hand. A Union artillerist remembered the havoc rebel sharpshooters played on their position. Standing out in bold relief above the slight earthwork in teams of 6, they were naturally a prominent target for rebel bullets, and the peculiar dull thud of these, at short intervals, told either that another animal had fallen a victim to the enemy's fire or, what was frequently the case, that one already hit was further wounded. Some of the horses would fall when struck by the first bullet, lie quiet a while, then struggle to their feet again to receive additional injuries. They were certainly thoroughly riddled, and long before the serious fighting of the day occurred, but 2 out of the 30 plainly visible to the enemy were left standing. These 2 had been struck, but not vitally, and survived some time longer. This statement does not include the horses on the caissons, most of which also fell. Army of the Potomac commander George Meade ventured to the front and heard disturbing news to himself. Reports came in that Lee had stripped his main Petersburg line of troops to strengthen forces going to attack Hancock and to aid other locations. The rebel defenses around Petersburg were paper thin. Barely a skirmish line separated the Army of the Potomac from the city. Meade heard the news and immediately became concerned about Hancock. The Army commander directed the Army's reserves to Globe Tavern, Reams Station, and points south on the Jerusalem Plank Road to protect the Union rear. The normally aggressive Ulysses S. Grant didn't visit the front that day because he suffered from an illness. Some historians speculate that he may have pushed Meade to attack the Petersburg defenses instead of using the Army's reserves to bolster other areas. When A.P. Hill heard about the feebleness of Wilcox's first attack, he got up from his prone state and was prepared to withdraw from Reams Station. When Heath's division came up, Heath, Hill, and Wilcox discussed further actions. Heath said that if William McRae and John R. Cook's brigades were supported by Wilcox's division, they could carry the position. Hill then agreed to renew the attack. Hill, Heath, and Wilcox formed their battle line, with James Connor's brigade and Cook's brigade in front, Scales' brigade to the rear and left of Connor, and McRae to the rear and right of Cook. Sammy McGowan and George Anderson occupied the right, guarding the flank. The entire formation of the new battle line took a couple of hours. The plan devised by Hill and Wade Hampton the previous evening had failed, primarily due to the time required for the tired secessionist infantry to reach the field. Now the Southerners abandoned subtlety and staked everything on a frontal assault. The new plan of attack simply called for the infantry to advance on the works after an artillery barrage. No time remained for further maneuvering or for another assault if this one failed. Hancock used his time wisely as well. Smith's brigade was on its way back to the Union line. Union cavalry covered the area south of Hancock's position, and another portion of cavalry extended Smith's line to the east. Heath and Wilcox met with their well-respected and talented artillery commander, William Pegram, to inform him of his duties that day. Pegram was born in Richmond, Virginia, and was attending the University of Virginia to study law when the war broke out. Despite his nearsightedness, Pegram became an artilleryman lauded by many Confederate generals. He fought viciously and commanded his cannons with precision to do as much damage to the enemy as possible. The three men synchronized their watches and planned for a 5 p.m. assault.